Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Young at Heart, featuring nursery rhymes, stories, songs, poems, Mother Goose, Aesop's fables, Lewis Carroll, limericks, larks, epics, stories of the great operas, which we shall be returning to in due time, and such, to keep us all young at heart. Are you on the edge of your seats? We are now at chapter 35, 35, I think, of L'Avventure di Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. 35, 35 of 36, 36, maybe. So, get ready. Now, do you recall where we left off last week? I hope so. Pinocchio is in the mouth of a great shark. Huge, gigantic, bigger than any whale. Okay, he's there and he meets a tuna. Also, like Pinocchio, who's remained intact, full, healthy, robust tuna, actually quite large as well. And they bemoan their fate. And after they trade stories and bits, and Pinocchio shares some of the things he's been through, they see a little light, candlelight, way deep into the belly of this shark. They're in the mouth at the moment. And if you recall, Pinocchio decides he's going to go and investigate. Yes. And the tuna decides to stand back, to refrain, to not go. So, Pinocchio goes, and as he goes deeper and deeper into the mouth, well, from the mouth to down the throat, into the belly of the shark, he gets closer and closer to the light, which begins to get brighter and brighter. And he notices in the belly of this shark, there's this greasy oil, and it smells like fried fish. So he's pondering, what on earth could this be? Fried fish? Not something likely that a shark could do for itself. Breaded, golden, and fried golden brown and tasty in the belly of a shark. Well, he continues to persevere. He has learned a lot, this wooden puppet that we've been talking about. And lo and behold, there's a little boat in the belly of the shark, and a little man, a very old man, a very old, white hair and all, very old, he's old, man, sitting at a little table, chewing on some live fish that are spewing out of his mouth because he can't chew fast enough. A little repulsed is Pinocchio. However, he looks carefully at the eyes of this old man, and who does he see? Yes, you've got it. It's Geppetto, the one who carved him as a puppet and allowed, or was shocked to see, someone, something, some providence at work turned this wooden puppet that Geppetto made into a live creature with a mind and everything, and a heart too. Well, there's such delight, there's such joy at this reunion, but no one is more joyful as Geppetto is Pinocchio himself. And then in about 2 pages or so, Collodi has Pinocchio reiterate almost all of his adventures. Do you remember the first one? Do you? Yes, going to school with a school book and all, and selling it to go to the puppet show, and then what happened with the puppet master and being firewood, but the puppets recognized him again. When you think about it, Providence was quite active in the story of this puppet, told by Collodi from 1881 to 1883. Just about 10 years after Italy finally became a nation all by its own, Yeah, fascinating time. It would be interesting if you want to take some time to look at what was happening in Italy at the time Collodi is telling this wonderful adventure. Well, all right, you want to know. So what are they going to do? Geppetto thinks everything is quite hopeless, you see. And but Pinocchio is filled with determination, and as he again, well, as I said, he relates to his father all the things that he has done. He seems to grow more in wisdom and also in confidence that he knows he can get them out of there. And so, but first he says, well, how were you able to survive? And how long has it been since you've been in this shark's belly? And he said 2 years. It's been 2 years. Remember, he was a long time in the playland and he turned into a donkey and all that. Do you recall? So he said, well, as it just so happened that when the shark swallowed him in his little boat, there was a major naval ship that all the sailors were able to jump into the sea and be saved, but the ship itself was swallowed, and the ship was filled with all the canned foods and stock of things from the ship, and so Geppetto has been able to live on that for 2 years. But he was now at the end, and he was trying to catch some fish that still were alive, getting swallowed into the belly of the shark. He really thought it was his last day. Well, Pinocchio says, I've got a plan. I have a plan. He says, he did. So he guides Geppetto with this candle. It's the last candle, the very, very last candle. And they walk through the stomach, into the throat, and into the mouth of the shark, which by the grace of God, as I said, providence is quite strong in this story. This shark sleeps with its mouth open, and they can see, and partly above the water, and so they can see out of his mouth, over the teeth, the stars of night. How beautiful a sight. And so they're about to go out and go for a swim, although Geppetto says he can't swim. Pinocchio says, don't worry, I'm an adept swimmer now, and I'm made of wood. Hang on, I'll get us to the shore. The candle makes the shark sneeze, and with that sneeze, Pinocchio and Geppetto fall backwards down the throat and back to the stomach. Terrible. But the chapter doesn't end there. So what happens is they climb up again, but this time in the dark. But Pinocchio is adamant. He'll find the way, even though they're in the dark. And he climbs back up, and then they're in the mouth, and lo and behold, he has his father sit on his shoulders or stand on his shoulders and hug him tightly, and he jumps over the teeth and into the water. And they're swimming, and they're swimming, and they're swimming. And in a very tender moment, Geppetto says, I don't think we're going to make it, Pinocchio. I don't see a bit of shore. Pinocchio does not want his father to lose heart. And he said, Father, for all I've learned, my eyes are now as sharp as a cat's, and I can see at night, and there's a shore. But he knew that he did not see the shore, and he himself was getting very weak and tired. But astoundingly, his nose doesn't grow longer. Do you know why? Well, I think because this was not a true lie. It was a little white lie, and it was to make someone feel better. There's a difference, you know, in all these statements that we make, lies and white lies and such. Well, just when Pinocchio is about to go down, he can't swim any longer. Lo and behold, who comes up but that tuna? Everything has a purpose in the story. And the tuna said, I'll help you. How did you get out? Said Pinocchio. And he says, well, I just followed your example. And out they went. They get onto the back of the tuna, who again, huge, another huge tuna, and he brings them both to shore. Now more adventures will occur in the concluding and final chapter, but I see I'm into 9 minutes and 40 seconds, so it's time to say, have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and God bless you, and good night.